the legendary Kestrel Super.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. Today we have got a very special one indeed. Now, certain people from a certain era will remember this beer for all the wrong reasons. And I must say, I have had a brief fling with this beer on several occasions. Back in the, what would that be, the late 80s and again in the mid 90s. The late 80s was a bit of a dark time in the world of the building trade. There was a bit of a recession. And I couldn't find work basically. I was a bricklayer and all my mates were buggering off to Germany to work over there. East Germany, of course, 89, you know, the wall came down and everything. And this coincided with this recession and they all went to Germany and started working over there. I didn't fancy going to Germany for some reason. I heard about the working conditions there. The money was good, but you were working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that really didn't appeal to me back then. Plus all my mates were over here, so I just thought, I'm going to stay here. And I took a job in a warehouse for a while, and I was introduced, shall we say, to a fella. Used to have a can of this every lunchtime. He was an absolute gentleman, the fella. His name was Tony. I'll never forget him. He was a real good bloke, salt of the earth type bloke. Not a drinker. He would never go to the pub of an evening. He wouldn't drink of a weekend. But every lunchtime, he would have one of these. And I remember one day I said to him, because I didn't really drink much at that time, certainly not during the day. I'd go out on a weekend bender, but I wouldn't drink much during the week. And I remember saying to him, Tony, why do you always have a can of this at lunchtime? He said, it just helps me through the day. But that was all he'd have, one, and that'd be it. On the rare occasion that we had a bit of an extended lunch break, he'd have two, but he wouldn't go further than that. But it was funny because he wore glasses and he was a big lump as well. All the management was scared of him. They used to call him the Coleman, and he was quite intimidating bloke, but when you got to know him, I mean, they were so stuck up their own arses, they wouldn't speak to any of us. But once you got to know Tony, he was an absolute diamond bloke. He would do anything for you. He's one of them sort of people. But he just loved this stuff. And he used to drink that. And in the afternoon, he'd come up to me. He always wore glasses. And he'd put his glasses down like that, look at me, and he goes, I'm fucking buzzing, I am. Put your glasses up and just walk off or waddle off. And yeah, that was my introduction to Kestrel. And one day he said to me, give it a go. And to be honest, it tasted like shit. Now, I haven't got the palate that I've got now, so I was used to weaker lager, obviously. This stuff was very, from what I remember, very syrupy and very strong in alcohol, but very, very syrupy, if you know what I mean. Fast forward that to what would that be, the 96, 97. I was living in a flat in Walthamstow, and this flat I got very cheap. I was renting, and it was cheap for a reason. It needed doing up, and I was a bit skint at the time, and that's the reason I took it, because it was cheap. And I remember I had to do a load of painting and decorating, and I thought, do you know what? Because I was a bit skint. I thought, I'll buy 4 cans of this, and I'll do it. I'll fly through it. It'll be, have a bit of a drink up and sit down and enjoy the fruits of my labour. The off licence round the corner was doing 4 of these for something stupid. I think it was, I don't know, it was less than a £5. So I just thought, right, that's a no-brainer. So I got these, came home. I got through 3 cans and I finished all the painting and decorating. I thought I'd done a good job. I was absolutely out of my nut. And I woke up the next day and the place looked like an explosion in a paint factory. It was, honestly, it was paint everywhere. There was paint footprints all over the carpets and everything. So, moral of that story is, do not do any painting and decorating when you got 4 cans of this inside you. And that was the last I tried. I tried a Kestrel. Kestrel, of course, is the axis of evil. Now, I'm not going to take the piss out of homeless people who drink it. You know, they've obviously got problems of their own. I'm not here to make jokes about that. You know, if you want to do that, then fine. I'm not really going to do that on video because they don't warrant it, really. You know, they've had hard times, it is anyway. But this was the axis of evil. You had Tennant Super, Kestrel Super, and Carlsberg Special Brew. That was the drink of choice for, you know, your homeless people and all that. The Skull was 1080. I don't know if you remember that. That was like a 10% beer. That wasn't so much prevalent, but them 3 definitely were. And apparently this was the best out of the lot. My mate Tony told me that because I asked him why he didn't drink Special Brew or anything like that. He said, "No, this is the best one." He says, "You've got to have it ice cold though." So this is cold. It's coming out of the fridge. I know I'm gassing on this one, but I want to take my time on this because this is quite a special beer. Right, fast forward that. This beer had a terrible reputation. You know, it was the go-to drink for the homeless people. You only bought this if you were either alcoholic, homeless, or you were very, very skint and you wanted a quick buzz. I'm sure every country in Europe has got these, and probably in America as well. You know, your high-strength, cheap alcohol. Taste is immaterial, just to, you know, to get people off their faces. This has been rebranded, and it's amazing what some marketing can do. A fella called Ken Munro, who worked for the Wells Brewery, started up his own company, and he took on all these brands. But one of the brands he took on was Kestrel, and what he did, he sort of smartened up the image. He introduced what was known as the holy brewing method. It's the only brewery I know that uses that term. What it basically means is it takes 7 days to brew it, so, and that includes 2 Sabbaths, so that's why they call it the holy brewing method. Apparently it's in keeping with all the monastic brewing. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but they've used it. I've tried as hard as I can to find out who brews this. As far as I know, it's the Caladonian Brewing Company. No brewing company has put its name to that. I don't know why, but they've chosen not to, and it's not on the can either that I can see. There's an address here from Malta, Valletta. I'm not sure whether it's brewed there or not now, but it's got proudly brewed in Scotland, and it's got the Scottish flags on it as well, so I'm assuming it's brewed in Scotland. Somebody told me it was brewed in the Tennant's Brewery in Scotland. I really don't know. It's so wishy-washy. But my point is, you know, about marketing. This has won awards. It's won 2 awards, and that is a gold award, World Beer Award. And I thought, blimey, that's a first. Another quick little story about this beer. It's got such a history. This is. They got taken to court, and they got taken to court was because the units of alcohol, the recommended units of alcohol from a government, from the UK government, are all contained in that can. So I think there's 4.5 units of alcohol. I mean, it's quite strong. And they were taken to court. Someone complained that it was exceeding the recommended allowance of units. So to get around that, they put on the can for sharing. Now, I don't know about you. There's a lot of jokes you could make about that. You know, the homeless people sharing beer and all that. I'm not going to do it. It doesn't warrant it. But that's how they got round it. And it's not there no more. What they've got on there now is award-winning. So yeah, it's got a bit of a history. Apologies for the gassing and the thing. I think it's interesting. If you don't think it's interesting, just fast forward it. But yeah, let's get on to the actual beer. It's coming up to sort of 10 to 1. I wouldn't think twice about drinking 11% Belgian double at this time, but there's something about this drink that you just have to look at your watch and think, should I really be doing this? But I'm going to do it anyway. It is a 500ml can. It's 9%. And that's all I can really tell you. Yeah, there's the award it's won. It's won a gold award. That's the World Beer Award. It's also won another award as well. I think it was a silver, or it might even be a bronze at another time. And yeah, that's all there is to it, really. I don't remember the Scottish flags on the front. But to be honest, when you bought a can of this, you weren't really looking at the details. You were just waiting to open it and get out your head. Out your head! But yeah, it said made in Scotland, crafted using the holy brewing method. There is a load of spiel on the side. I'm not going to read it because you know what I'm like when I'm reading out loud. I cannot do it. But if you want to have a quick gander at that, fill your Dr. Martens. And there you go. So all that remains now is to get this open and see what's going on. Right, on the nose. Fuck. It does smell quite nice. It's very malty. There's like some caramel malt on that. A little touch of spice too. And surprisingly, no spirit alcohol. It does remind me of a Belgian double. Initially. Oh, maybe there's your spirit alcohol there now, yeah. Interesting. Let's get it into the glass. Do you know what? I was thinking, I know that's dangerous, I shouldn't really be doing that, but this will be the first time I will have ever seen what Kestrel Super actually looks like, because I never drank it in a glass. This, almost universally, these type of lagers were always drunk out the can. Let me move over a little bit so you can enjoy my famous good looks. There it is in the glass. Now that's not a haze on it. That is, there's a fair bit of carbonation on that, as you can see. Frothy, one finger white head. Is that one finger? 1.5 maybe. On the nose. Very malty. Oh, there's a metallic aroma to it now. Yeah, I'm getting that. I'm wondering whether that's from the can or not. And there's some spirit alcohol. Right, let's dive in. Wish me luck. I haven't done this since 1997. Cheers. God. Yeah, this is what I remember. That is very, very syrupy. Now, I know they do this a lot in Belgian beers where they add sugar. They've done it here as well, and I imagine that's to sweeten it up, you know, to counteract the spirit alcohol that's in it. Oh. But it really is sweet. There's some caramel malt on that, but the sweetness is overpowering in this. And this is why my mate Tony told me to drink it really cold, because obviously, you know, when you get to a certain temperature, you sort of miss out on a lot of flavours. But oh, that is so sweet. There's a metallic flavour to it. Surprisingly, not much spirit alcohol, but it just tastes cheap. Very sweet, bit of caramel malt, metallic notes to it, and that's about it. And to be honest, not very nice. I could not drink a lot of this. How I got through 3 cans of this, I will not know. Mouthfeel is quite abrasive. That carbonation you're seeing in there, that translates to the mouthfeel. But it's actually getting smoother. There's just too much sugar sweetness in that. Not enjoying it. I really wish I could have done a blindfold test with this and compared it to a Belgian triple, because I do wonder whether that the can and everything associated with it is clouding my judgment. But the taste is just sugary, sickly, sweet, metallic, and all in all, not very good. So what's the verdict on this stuff? Well, I think I've exercised a few demons trying this again. I was never a fan of this, to be honest. It had a bad reputation, and it was one of them drinks that only a certain type of person would buy. If you were seen drinking one of these, people would judge, and that's the sad fact. You know, people could. I mean, there isn't the stigma that you get now, where you're walking down the street drinking a can of beer. If you're drinking a can of this or a can of Tennant Super, people are immediately going to judge. They're going to think alcoholic or homeless or something like that, which is a shame. But I have to say, on its own merits as a beer, that is not nice. And the only reason I bought this, I really wasn't going to review it, but I was in the shop the other day. We was having a barbecue, and I was picking up some beer in the shop around the corner, and I just saw a can of this, and I'd had a few, and I thought, should I get one to review? And I thought, yeah, why not? So I got this, and it was cheap. It was just over £1, I think it was, but it's not nice. No, it is not for me. It is way too sweet. There's a metallic tinge over the whole lot of it, and it's just not nice. In fact, that mouthfeel now has actually improved somewhat, and it doesn't smell too bad. But the taste is just too sugary, and you find that in a lot of these super strength beers. The OJ stuff that I reviewed a while back, yeah, that was the same. It was just so sickly sweet. So I'm not a fan. So I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10, and I'm not going to recommend it. No, you're just on a hide into nothing with these types of beers, really. Yeah, 2 out of 10, not recommended. And remember, I'm drinking this shit, so you don't have to.